Hello everyone. Today I'll talk about the solution to the problem sentence similarity 3. We're given here a definition of a sentence, but in essence we'll be operating on the strings that were given at the beginning, split on white space. So we can just map the split function over both those sentences to get the sentences split as lists of strings. We can use this str.split to invoke the split method on those two separate instances. As while it might be obvious, and it is pretty easy to see what the actual solution here is, if it's not obvious to you, then I recommend that, well, you can look at it as it's given in the problem. So to insert a sentence in the middle of one of the sentences that were given to get the other sentence. This is the same thing as looking at one of the sentences, removing a sentence from the middle of it to get the other one, right? Those are equivalent. And of course, in our form that we're maintaining our sentences, this is just a list of strings, so we have to just remove a slice of that list. And also, another maybe perspective is that for it to be possible, then let's say that this is the big sentence, and this is the sentence that we have to remove from it to get the shorter sentence. Well, that means that the shorter sentence is this prefix and then this suffix. So one way of seeing if it's possible to transform one into the other is to look at how long the common prefix, the longest common prefix and the longest common suffix of both of those sequences is. Because if we find out, for instance, that the longest common prefix or suffix of both of those strings is just those whole strings, that means that the strings are the same. And in particular, if we have our first string, our second string, and this is the longest common prefix, this is the longest common suffix, then that means that this portion within differs on the first position from the first position here and on the last position here. And it's impossible to transform one into the other. But if instead we have the common prefix be here, common suffix be here, and they constitute the whole smaller string, well, that means that this part is the sentence that we can add in the middle to create this longer string. So in other words, we have to see what the longest prefix is, what the longest suffix is, and if nothing remains of one of the strings, that means that it's possible to transform. Otherwise, there remains some core, some middle of both the strings that differs, and in such case, it's impossible to transform one into the other. So to verify it, one way of doing it would be after we have split the strings, we will be popping from the back for as long as the strings are the same. So we'll be eating the common suffix until we reach two strings that differ. So maybe those two. We are popping them. And then we just reverse the strings and do the same thing again. So now we're popping from the left. This matches with this matches with this. And finally we hope that this matches with this. And at the end, if both the strings are full, so consist of something, we have to return false. Otherwise we have to return true. So we can use an OR operator, and if either S1 is empty or S2 is empty, we return true, otherwise we return false.